I'd like to take a moment to share with you a very interesting conversation that I had with a young couple. It's my hope that what I shared with them is a help to you the way it was to them. They are 34 and 35 years old. They have been dating for 3 years, recently engaged. He has an 11-year-old son. He is 35, and she, who's 34, has a 9-year-old son. He set the session. He said, Doc, I reached out to you because I love my wife. Or soon to be wife, we were engaged about 2 months ago. We've been planning and starting to think about doing marriage counseling. And we've been having some deep conversations about life after marriage. And now he's starting to think twice about the engagement. She's just sitting there listening. I said, what's going on? He said, well, she is struggling with prioritizing me over her son once we get married. And I don't think that's right. I have made it clear to her that my son comes second to her as my soon-to-be wife, and that I expect the same respect in return. She blurted out and said, Doc, I'll be honest with you. I love him. He's the man that I prayed for. He's everything that I've been praying for. But I just believe that my son should come first, and he should understand that. I said, okay. I said, you want to give me a reason why you have this, philosophy on that type of order? She said, well, Doc, I came from a blended family. That didn't work. I said, why didn't it work? She said, well, my stepfather was very abusive to my mom, very abusive to her, treated her and her brother, younger brother, very bad. And that really terrified me. Things didn't really change until we got grown. I said, and what happened when you were grown? She said, well, she finally left. When we went out, when he got out of the house and went to college, I was already gone. Then that's when she left him and filed for divorce. I said, so what was your mom's response during all of this time while he was doing these things? She said, well, Doc, she stayed. She put up with it and literally put up with it and took it. And we watched it and we ended up bearing the grunt of his abuse, which was verbal. And in her case, many occasions was physical. And I said to her, I'm very sorry to hear that. I said, ma'am, I want to say something to you, and I don't think this is going to take long. Marriages that work require order. I said, especially when it comes to kids. And at the end of the day, whether we like this or not, and even considering a blended family, your spouse should come first over your son. She was visibly upset, shaking her head, just kind of putting her hand over her mouth and looking down. And I said, has he attempted to be first while you all dated? She didn't say anything. You could tell she was getting upset. Her eyes were getting watery. He blurted out and said, no, sir, I haven't. He said, I haven't. And she will tell you that all the times that we've dated, I have honored her obligations with her son. I've never tried to put date nights and times that we've traveled together above her obligations with her son. I've never done any of that. We haven't even had a conversation about order in our marriage until after we got engaged. I said, ma'am, is that true? She said, yes, sir. I said, ma'am, he did it right. I said, because number one, boyfriends and girlfriends don't come over children. Husbands and wives do. I said, this is why many blended families don't work, because these blended families actually start off in the boyfriend-girlfriend stage with people putting their boyfriends and girlfriends above their children. That's out of order. There is no right or reason or obligation for you to put your boyfriend or girlfriend over your kids. I said, does that make sense to you? She said, yes, sir, it does. But I still don't think he should come over my son. And I just wish he would respect why I feel that way and where that comes from. I said, ma'am, let me give you a quick example. I said, let's just say you're riding down the street in a car. And let's call that car your car. You're in the front seat driving, and your son is sitting next to you riding in that car. And You happen to pull up at the grocery store and you see your fiance in his own car with his son riding in the front seat. She's listening, he's listening. I said, ma'am, in order for both of you to combine cars, get in the same vehicle and go the same direction, what's going to be the seating arrangement? She said, if we all get in the same car? I said, yes. She said, I'm going to put him in the front and put my son in the back with his son. I said, is that easy? She said, yes, sir. I said, why is that easy to understand? She said, because, Doc, they're kids and they don't have any business riding in the front seat. I said, oh, really? I said, ma'am, the car is your life. Your car is your life. His car is his life. When two lives come together that already have children in them, we call them blended families, and they merge and become one car, then the natural order is for the adults to sit in the front and the children to ride in the back. She put her head down. She was starting to cry. I didn't think I was that harsh. And she blurted out and said, Doc, I just don't think I can do this. I said, ma'am, if you understand the natural example of being on a regular trip and combining two cars with two adults and two children, and the children are riding in the back, you need to embrace the same level of order when it comes to blending two families, because the reality is this man has done it right. He was not trying to establish order as your boyfriend, because he would have been out of order. He is attempting to make you his wife, and you're attempting to put him in the back seat and put your son in the front. I said, do you not understand that? She didn't say anything. She put her head down. I said, ma'am, I'll put it to you this way. You got two choices. Either you can put him in the front seat and let your son ride in the back seat, and y'all head in the direction that you're going to with some order. Or you can stay in your own car and he can stay in his own car and y'all can head your own directions. She looked up, tears on her face. She said, Doc, I think I'm going to have to do that. I can't put anybody over my son. I understand what you're saying. In theory, it makes sense. I understand the thing about order. He's a great guy, but I can't put anybody over my son. I said, ma'am, let me tell you what the real problem is. The reason why you can't put him in the front seat is because your mama and your stepdaddy are still sitting up there. She bursted out crying. He started crying. It became a very emotional conversation. I said, ma'am, the bigger problem is you can't sit this fine man up there because your mother and your stepfather are still sitting in the front seat of your car that is called your life. And ma'am, until you get them out of the front seat, you're going to miss out on an opportunity for a man who genuinely loves you and your son, because you're still letting people who are in the past ride in the front seat. I said, there are a lot of people that are unhappy right now in blended families because they are absolutely allowing people from the past to ride in the front seat. But ma'am, anytime you decide to combine two families together and two people come together and they both have children, the thing that aligns with order and structure that is right is to put the children in their proper place and to make your spouse the number one priority in that car. He has to make you priority. You have to make him priority. And anything short of that, you need to stay in your car with your kids. And he needs to stay in his car with his. She was very upset. She said she still wasn't sure she could do it. He assured me that we would do a follow-up session in a couple of weeks, and it's my hope that they can figure it out. I hope this story made sense. If it did, type church in the comments with 3 R's, and then remember, you've got 2 jobs. 1, be better today than what you were yesterday, and 2, don't forget what I told you. What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Zeb. Listen, I've been dying to make this announcement for a very long time now, and I'm pleased to say that Inspire Nation has officially launched. Yes, we finally got a Facebook and YouTube community group where we're going to have exclusive content, exclusive shorts, exclusive discussion prompts, where we're going to engage with other people literally around the world who are on the same healing journey that we're on. I need you to go find these pages right now on Facebook and YouTube. Inspire Nation, follow the page, join the group, introduce yourself, and be prepared to link up with literally thousands of people around the world who are on the same healing journey, who are looking for the same resources, and who want to also be surrounded with other like-minded individuals who are growing in the same direction as you are. I'm so excited about this because it's the beginning of some great things I can't talk about right now. Listen, you got two jobs. One, be better today than what you were yesterday. And two, don't forget what I told you.